sprite, I'd say Ryzeal, although you have to give away your rank 2s for some rank 4s.
But that's not quite the normal summon you want to go for in the deck. So I want to know what you guys think about obviously Ryzeal and the different variants that we are going to see this weekend. Is this the way to go, or do you like, you know, some new additions from Supreme Darkness with the Mitsurugi, for example?
I think the Ryzeal strategy, as you say, is very flexible, and I guess it depends what you like. So the Fiendsmith deck is very grindy and is very consistent, whereas the Mitsurugi strategy is very powerful and very explosive, but I think on occasion you might not get all of your Mitsurugi cards going, whereas the Fiendsmith is very easy to get them going. You just need to get 2 monsters on the field and away you go. Whereas on the flip side, some people prefer the Mitsurugi strategy because it's more explosive, and also it's less weak into Fuvalos, which is a very, very popular card we'll be seeing a lot of this weekend.
Yeah, I think especially Fuvalos will be played by most of our players this weekend. And on the other side, I'm really curious to see whether Drone Lockbird will be played in multiple copies in the main decks. But here comes the Ghost Ogre, which this is something maybe not unusual, but that we don't see often in the main decks. And it may shut down Samir's strategy, but there's a triple tactics talent. And I think, again, this is one of those cards which maybe will be in everyone's deck this weekend, and it makes the difference, because now Samir is filled to know, and if he has an entrap to stop the track, for example, he could get rid of the X. So
yeah, I mean, he also knows now it's a mirror match, so that definitely helps in the way they use it up. But I do agree, Talent obviously has been an amazing card for a while, but I think for a moment we didn't see the card being main decked for a while, and now it seems like with the Ryzeal deck the trend has changed once again, and it is seeing even free copies often in the main deck, so it's always interesting to see how these trends change.
Yeah, Ben now down to only 2 cards, and Samir's first turn. He's used 1 imp. I'm not sure what the imperm got used on.
on the Lacrima.
On the Lacrima,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then Ogre on the Princess, but the Princess still, that would mean got a draw, so Samir's going to have an awful lot of cards to be working with.
And yeah, as you can see, you know where the card was, and you can just bring it back.
And he sent away the X, was it? So he knows this is probably going to get Veiler.
You know about the Veiler. So there is only the Tract left in the end of ban.
Samir's got an awful lot of cards to be working with.
Yeah, it seems like nowadays the deck just has to figure out what to play around and what not, because Bestials are also one of those cards that keeps on changing, whether it's main decked in a lot of copies or whether it's not there at all, and obviously the Fiendsmith are heavily impacted by that.
Yeah, I'm seeing almost everyone now just at a minimum, including a Magnamut, and then one other Bestial that you can search with the Magnamut. And Samir thinking now in response to the Tract. Has to wait until the main phase before he can activate his Lacrima, so he's had to let Ben start playing a little bit, but I think he's going to just try and resolve his Lacrima now, or maybe not, he's just thinking about it.
I think it will make sense, but maybe could wait a little bit longer. It depends on what he's holding in his hand, but in general, I think it will be okay to activate the Lacrima here, just because, like, basically Ben is left with 1 card, and yeah, it's going for it. So
we know kind of with the way chains work, I'm not actually sure Samir's going to have time to resolve the Fiendsmith in Paradise on the Lurie, because you have to wait now. You have to resolve the Lacrima, and then in a new chain we'll have Lurie as Chainlink 1, and then Lacrima is going to resolve, well, that will be in a new chain actually, so it's Requiem on Chainlink 2. It's going to be a ideal target would have been the Lurie, of course, so you have to wait a little bit longer. Ben can play a few more cards. It's very difficult to interrupt this Requiem, isn't it? It's just quick effect, tribute.
no, exactly. But I mean, I feel like that if Samir has at least 1 interruption, which may be the case, to be fair, because like he's left with 2 cards in hand, he may be able to stop Ben to continuing. But I think this is like a trend that we will see this weekend as well. At least 15 hand traps are played. So, you know, it's like statistically, it's quite likely that you get to draw at least one. So, yeah, Samir is allowing also this Lacrima. And it also depends, honestly, on what Ben drew into. Because if you draw, for example, a Ryzeal, that could, you know, basically impact.
Yeah, that could make a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, Samir knows to play around the cards that Ben had, but he doesn't know that one card that he drew for turn. Samir, I guess, probably didn't have any Ryzeal cards given how last turn was played out, except for possibly a Node Ryzeal or something like that. So he's going to have to work with what he's got. But that would mean, you know, often when your opponent hasn't extended any further, it means that the remaining cards are defensive options.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ben, you're most likely thinking that's an impermanent set, could be, but... Yeah, here he comes, so... I mean, we have seen the impact of Fiendsmith in Paradise over the past events, and that card now, if it was somewhat of a niche pick earlier on, now is played by everyone, and I mean, it is for a reason. Such a strong option, easily.
Yeah, it really took off once Fiendsmith Lacrima was released, so you could just send it. Well, the wrong Lacrima. It's not Fiendsmith Lacrima, is it? It's
Yeah, I mean
Lacrima of the Crimson Tears or something like that. Yeah, but it is always treated as a Fiendsmith card, as it says on the text.
No, but also in Bologna we saw Fiendsmith in Paradise made a difference, and it was not played by many players, and nowadays it's like a must, let's say.
Look for a second like Ben was trying to destroy
yeah,
Samir's set.
That would be a bit too much.
It already has enough effects, Engraver.
Yeah.
Here we go, and what is that final card?
It's a monster, but couldn't quite tell.
Ogre.
It's a Ghost Ogre.
So it looks like he's gonna normal summon the Ogre. I guess that might make time for a sequence. Seems very ambitious to try and resolve a sequence here, but I suppose you've got to do something.
Okay. And it finally comes the impermanence from Samir.
We expected it, and unfortunately that means it's going to be a pass back to Samir, holding 3 cards in his hands, and yeah, in a really good spot.
Yeah, you often know in situations like this, oh, and there comes the Ryzeal, the rank 4, but in any situation you could make Exton, you could also just make Moon, so no one's playing any normal normal monsters that can make Exton and not Moon. So I guess it depends. If you want to use the effect of Exton, then obviously it's great to have, but if you don't care about its effect, then you might as well just have Moon.
Okay, we start things off a bit better here from Ben, but we are stopped by the impermanence right away. Okay.
And also this is something, do you usually keep any interaction on the level 4s? Because like it could also make sense to just let your opponent do everything and then have maybe the impermanence for the detonator, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people holding it, so I guess if I see an impermanence, to me it says maybe Samir's got another interruption in his hand.
Oh, but we're done.
Oh,
actually.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, Ben just thought that was enough, but I do agree with you that it's a bit odd, but we are gonna play right away this.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow, this is huge.
This is one of the cards coming from the side deck, I imagine, and what a card it is in this matchup specifically.
Yeah, I mean, the Ultimate Slayer, I think this weekend will be another very important card in our player set deck strategy, and I think it's another way of like replacing the Metal Tronus, I guess.
Yeah, I think people are actually main decking Metal Tronus. I've seen that card really popular, and I think Samir might be main decking some himself.
Yeah.
Also main decking a copy of Book of Moon in true Samir style. He has to just throw something in there to confound everyone looking at his deck lists.
I mean, he won YCS London with the Book of Eclipse to play around Nibiru, so he has to bring at least a book card back in the UK. So
I think he's finally is he finally not running Monster Reborn though.
He's not. But Ben is left with no cards in it, right?
He's used Vela
No, yes.
and Ash.
Because he had 2 monsters.
Ah, yeah, that's it. That's
Vela,
right.
Ash, and the field spell. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smith having to start
Wow.
with his Ryzeal package, so not going to get to use any
Yeah.
Fiendsmith cards this turn, but I'm not sure that's going to matter too much. You could see
Yeah.
them piling up.
This could be a quick one, and you can see why Samir is playing so fast, because, yeah, Ben is out of cards. And what a brutal game 2.
Here comes Node, and you can almost just summon something from the graveyard with Node and then just attack. Is that 8,000 damage? Well, it will be when you put a...
So 17 plus...
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
enough.
I think so, right? 20.
Yeah, and it's enough.